October 1st, 2025, today. I speak in the voice of the one who created you before the passing of time, measured how many breaths you took. And like a silent breeze that is familiar with the geography of your hidden aspirations, I approach your heart. Archangel Michael stands at the threshold of your attention and says, I order you to open this right now, because timing matters when heaven releases a word that was kept aside with your name written on it. This is not an accident and not a random echo. It is a living message guided to you with tenderness and precision, wrapped in protection and announced with authority, so you will not mistake it for the forgettable noise of the world. I know how much you have carried in silence, how you have smiled in public and wrestled in private. And I know the exact day you decided to stop asking for signs because disappointment felt more manageable than hope. But hope did not abandon you. It hid in me so you would not lose it. And now I open my hand to show you what I have reserved. A future that loves you back with a steady, reverent flame. Michael says, listen carefully because the hour is holy and focused, and this word refuses to be postponed. The person whose presence keeps circling your heart wants to marry you with all their heart, not for show and not to decorate an emptiness, but to become a covenant shelter, a place of home where your soul can rest without bargaining for peace. Age has tried to dress itself as a wall between you, and the voice of comparison has attempted to gather counsel from the loudness of strangers and the smallness of fear. But I do not measure the worth of love by the calendar's arithmetic. I weigh it by the gravity of intentions, the purity of motives, the integrity of choices made in the light when no one is watching. What matters to me is whether the love in question rescues dignity, honors boundaries, tells the truth, and chooses sacrifice before convenience. You have asked me in the privacy of midnight whether you are misreading signals or building castles over sand. You have asked me to close every door that will harm you and open only the door that will treat you like the sacred story you are. I have not ignored you. I have been arranging confirmations that thread through your days like quiet pearls, subtle enough that faith must reach for them, but clear enough that fear cannot overturn them. I have watched you test this hope by letting it go and seeing if it returns with strength rather than anxiety. I have seen you surrender the outcome to me because you refuse to make an idol out of human affection. That surrender has been your shield, and it remains your wisdom. Michael says, do not skip this because confusion is trying to bargain for your delay. The age difference is real, but is not a prophecy of imbalance. It is a variable to be stewarded with maturity, counsel, and honesty. You're not being asked to ignore wisdom or silence discernment. You're being invited to examine fruit. Does this person's life produce patience, accountability, responsibility, humility, and consistent care for your heart? Do they know how to apologize without rehearsing excuses? How to plan with both vision and practicality? How to protect your reputation when you're not in the room? These are the questions that remove fog. These are the measures that ignore gossip and locate truth. I will not trap you in a story that requires you to shrink for someone else to feel tall. If the love that pursues you requires the dimming of your calling, it is not my assignment bearing flowers. It is a distraction wearing perfume. But hear me, this is not that the person who thinks of you in the quiet and prays for you when no one counts points has asked me for permission to carry your joy the way a careful hand carries living water. They have worried about the chatter of outside voices, about the math of years, about the opinions that forget the weight of character. Yet their desire is not to parade you before curiosity. It is to build with you a life that feeds your future rather than performing for the present. Michael says, urgency is not panic. It is the time alignment. I'm not in a hurry. I'm concentrating on you. In some instances, doors open for a season before closing to protect what they expose. The door to clarity is open today. I am providing you 3 confirmations that are so straightforward that pride cannot justify them. Initially, you will see a surprising phrase that you previously typed or spoke coming back to you from their message or lips. It echoed like a heard promise, a statement you didn't believe they recalled. Second, A little disruption in your schedule will bring you together for an hour you hadn't anticipated, substituting talking for the inconvenience and bringing the aroma of calm with it. Third, when you declare a boundary out loud, a fear that has been weighing you down like a shadow will release its hold. And like sunshine through a cautious window, you will see respect welcome that barrier. These aren't games. These serve as markers. Allow them to support you. If you chose this covenant wisely, I have glimpsed the texture of what you will share over the next years. I imagine a table where the raw nature of laughing is not an excuse. An apology is given in the house before animosity takes hold. A budget that grows without conceit and learns without shame. And a common goal that values rest just as much as it values influence. I envision a love style that recalls your humanity on the days when your bravery is weak, holidays that don't need performance, and mornings that don't penalize tardiness. I'm not guaranteeing you a storm-free existence. A companion who won't hand you a bucket with holes is what I'm assuring you. You need consistency, and I'm working on it covertly since loudness tends to mask weakness. You'll find a dictionary of uncertainty in the globe. Age will be seen as a sign of misaligned circles, misaligned energy, and misaligned time frames. That's true sometimes. Lazy thinking is often the cause. Let knowledge be precise. The consistency of your basic beliefs is more important than the variations in your birthdays. The regard that goes hand in hand with responsibility. The readiness to learn from one another instead of transforming one another into a cozy myth. Let the years be service rather than leverage if one of you has more. Let that youth be curiosity rather than stubbornness if one of you has less. The fictitious mountains individuals create on paper will be flattened by humility. Michael continues, I am placing a sword of clarity in your hand, not to wound, but to cut away the vines that try to tangle your feet when you walk. Ask direct questions and listen for steady answers. Do not fear the quiet after you ask. Silence will reveal whether someone is gathering truth or building a story. Take care when you speak. Never exchange it for suspicion masquerading as power. Your tenderness is not a weakness. It is proof that I am still heard in your heart. I term it still alive, but you label it too sensitive. You pondered if it was improper to want a marriage while also being afraid of losing who you are. I'm not asking that you vanish into someone else's fantasy. I'm extending an invitation to a partnership in which two callings learn to work together without interfering with one another's goals. The person who really loves you won't make you choose between them and me, between your integrity and their acceptance, or between your peace and their comfort. If you hear that stance, you are hearing the song of covenant. The person who really loves you will question, how can I guard what God is building in you? Even on days I do not fully understand it. I'm pressing my palm into the pain of your past, when promises were taken and never given back. I don't downplay your past. I fix it. The tears you shed back then are now pearls of knowledge on the thread of your discernment, and you will not throw them away. I don't say, pretend it didn't hurt. Instead, I say, watch me repurpose it so it won't own you. You won't raise a spouse. A listener won't beg you. The sport of mind games is not something you will put up with. Both you and others will invest in you. Your standard has been recalculated, and it now aligns with heaven. Michael continues, do not delay through overthinking what you can resolve through conversation and prayerful counsel. I want you to seek counsel from one wise, safe person who values holiness over drama and knows how to keep confidences. Bring them facts, not fantasies. Bring them patterns, not single moments. Let them ask you hard questions and do not resent them for it. Because honesty now is a soft bed later and flattery now is a hard floor later. When you finish, bring your heart back to me and say, I surrender the outcome to your goodness. Take me step by step. I remove from you the fear that says if I choose wrong, I will ruin everything. You're not powerful enough to defeat my ability to redirect you. I'm not fragile. If this is not for you, I will block it in a way that protects your dignity. If this is for you, I will confirm it in a way that strengthens your courage. Either way, I'm not leaving you to guess. I'm not a riddle maker. I am a way maker, and the way I am building for you is not cramped. It is spacious with boundaries that feel like blessings, not fences of punishment. You hold memories of being compared to others, weighed and measured, as if your worth were a contest that changes winners every week. Lay those comparisons on the altar. They have no jurisdiction over your future. Your story does not need to look like anyone else's to be holy. It needs to look like obedience and joy. I am giving you the grace to bless what is different without apologizing for what is yours. You will not dress your love in borrowed clothes just to please spectators who will not attend the daily tasks of your life. The audience's appetite for novelty is not a map for your calling. Michael says, I stand watch over this threshold with a drawn sword, and anything that tries to invade your peace must pass a test it cannot survive. I disperse the murmur of jealousy, the deceit of those who seem concerned but thrive on bewilderment, and the covert sabotage of those who claim to be in charge. I take away the pressure to turn your choice into a show. As your root grows deep, keep your circle narrow. Announce results rather than additions. Instead of negotiating, share testimonies. Before you modify it for the comfort of others, write down how you feel in the coming days when you are most honest with yourself. When you're not performing, write down what you know about yourself. Which acts of compassion come naturally to you? Which duties do you like carrying? Which sleep patterns help you recover? Which kind of service bring you joy? Then inquire as to whether this connection encourages you to conceal your genuine self or enhances it. I'll be grinning wherever you find amplification. My refusal to bless your soul's burial will lead me to pause wherever you find yourself hiding. I'm repairing the mental chronology that indicates you're running late. You're not running late. Right on the curve of a design, you have avoided commitments you would have outgrown and spaces you would have detested. I postponed a few introductions for your protection, not to make fun of you. I slowed down certain emotions to train them, not to punish you. The ability to identify a safe delight is what you are now developing. Anyone may feel ecstatic. Not many can be secure. I'm offering both to you. A thrill without mayhem, a delight. A steadying safety without numbness. Michael says, protection is not suspicion. Protection is clear truth wrapped in gentle strength as you speak with the one who longs to build with you. Let gratitude and clarity hold hands. Say what you need without apology and listen for what they need without defensiveness. You're not entering a courtroom. You are entering a covenant. Promise small things and keep them. Promise large things only when they have sturdy frames. This is how houses stand when storms test them. I plant peace in your nights. I remove the nightmare that repeats old betrayals like bad echoes. I rewrite your dreams with promises that do not evaporate in the morning. Your body will feel this as relief in your chest and breath in your bones. Your mind will notice the way worry becomes easier to place down and harder to pick up. This is not a trick. It is the result of me carrying what you cannot carry and teaching you the art of letting go while holding fast to what is good. The age difference will ask you to be intentional about seasons. One may be closer to certain goals. The other may be at the beginning of them. Turn this into harmony, not hierarchy. Let the one with more experience offer mentorship without condescension. Let the one with fresh energy offer innovation without disrespect. Break the myth that only one can lead. Leaders take turns. Love keeps score of service, not superiority. When you practice this, you will find that time becomes your ally, not your critic. Michael says, open this immediately because favor is present right now to do what used to feel heavy. Make the phone call you've been putting off. Compose the message that calls for bravery. The next door will open if you ask the right inquiry. When a truth would be better armor, don't employ quiet as a shield. When using honest language would benefit both parties, avoid using ambiguous language. After uncertainty is eliminated, you'll be shocked at how quickly clarity gives your days new vitality. A thief is confusion. Truth tends to the garden. I bless the rhythm of your riches and the labor of your hands. In your relationship, money won't be the biggest voice. The mission will. You'll discover stewardship that doesn't sap your pleasure and generosity that doesn't exhaust you. Sometimes you may have to say no to preserve the most important yes. This is not scarcity, but intelligence. You will learn the choreography of abundance from me. Give without bragging, prepare without panic, receive without guilt, and save without fear. Make your budget a place where worry forgets its boundaries and thankfulness kneels. I provide the ability to grin without explanation to those who are unable to comprehend. Holding a press conference for blessings that fall within my advice is not necessary. I offer you the words to encourage those who really care about you to pray with you instead of putting pressure on them. Those that support you will rejoice in your development, even if it deviates from their expectations. Those who aren't will gradually come to light, and I will protect your heart from revenge. Don't give them the pen that will write your next chapter, but bless them and let them go. I silence the fake voices that mirror my tone, but increase your fear, as Michael states. I have stood at the doorway of many battles you never saw and ended them before they learned your name. This too I will do with every scheme that tries to confuse this decision. I make the sound of my tranquility the theme music for your morning. Say this simply and sincerely as soon as you wake up. Take the lead, and I'll follow. I will always answer that prayer. Keep an eye out for little, dependable developments in the months that follow this day. The supper was enjoyed without any performances. The strategy was developed without a power struggle. An invoice was not included with the apology. The laughter that comes back to a tree it trusts like a familiar bird. You're following a route that I have leveled, and these are the indications. And when difficulties arise, as they do for everyone who loves, turn to one another rather than to fear, and turn both of you toward me. Make this your beat. Pray, talk, listen, make a choice, and be blessed. Continue until you feel at home. Your ability to wait without becoming resentful makes me pleased. I admire your ability to free individuals from obligations they will never be able to pay back. Even when disappointment attempted to take away your language, you defended your ability to believe in goodness, and for that I am proud. More than simply a relationship status is your prize. Love is sustainable because of the inner freedom. You won't grasp. You'll be the one carrying. You won't beg. You'll construct. You're not going to settle. You'll be a good steward. Michael says, this message is just for you and arrived on time. Do not try to skip what is meant to anchor you. Take the step I place in front of you today, either to move forward with a brave yes guarded by wise boundaries, or to request one more clear sign without guilt, or to close a door with gentleness if I reveal what does not honor you. Any of these can be obedience. The difference is discernment, and I am with you in it. You are not walking alone toward a giant. You are walking with the captain of heaven's host beside you. And giants look small from this vantage. Now breathe, beloved. I anoint your courage and your clarity. I bless the one who loves you to love you better. And I bless you to receive love without briefing yourself on disaster first. Let today be the day you stop rehearsing loss and begin practicing trust. Age will not be your master. Fear will not be your narrator. Shame will not be your historian. I am your author, and I am writing you toward a future where your heart is well kept. Open the door I am holding. Walk in peace and know beyond the arguments, beyond the arithmetic, beyond the noise that you are seen, chosen, protected, and cherished. Today, October 1st, 2025, Archangel Michael says, I order you to open this right now, and I, the Lord your God, speak over you with a voice that finds you where you are in the middle of the noise and the questions you have not confessed to anyone. Don't neglect this. It's only for you. Between reluctance and hope, I have seen you hold your breath. And I've seen you sketch the shape of a fantasy you're scared to acknowledge you want. You've been concerned about the numbers that indicate the years that separate two hearts, about the way others gaze and murmur, and about time. However, I am not as important as other individuals. I weigh hearts. I gauge faith. I interpret reality in the same way that sunshine illuminates a cloud's edge. Someone is really interested in getting married to you. For the everyday days and the long nights, for the little triumphs and the unseen injuries, not for a performance or a moment. Their love is not a crashing, retreating wave. The tide is constant and continues coming back to shore. Additionally, I can use the age gap to my advantage while others would see it as a barrier. Don't be scared of the bridge I'm constructing. Joy seemed too costly. Therefore, I observe you attempting to talk yourself out of it. I saw you chose restraint over every dispute you might have won and quiet over every gossip. I was your robe when they made fun of you. I served as your signate ring when they had doubts about you. You prayed, God, if this is not you, shut the door. But if this is you, do not let my own fear be the reason I say no. I heard it. I hear every syllable of your trembling courage. And I am telling you now, this person's heart is sincere. Their intention is not a mask. Their loyalty is not a costume. Where others saw the gap in years and called it a fracture, I saw an interlocking of seasons, wisdom meeting wonder, patience meeting passion, memory meeting vision. Do not skip this. It is just for you. Archangel Michael stands at your threshold with a sword that reflects every lie back into the mouth that spoke it. He says, open immediately. The delay you have been rehearsing, the stall you keep making, the caution that is really fear disguised as wisdom, lay it down. There is counsel in caution, yes, but there is also paralysis when caution becomes a cage. I did not give you a spirit of fear. I did not teach you to shrink from blessings as though they are traps. I am not the author of baited hooks or the voice of manipulation. I am the author of peace, alignment, and a joy that arrives like rain and then stays to water the ground. The enemy would like to shrink this story to a headline, to reduce your whole future to a number and a sneer. But your story is not a headline. Your story is a covenant I have been shaping with care. You have asked for signs, and I have sent them in quiet and in thunder. I sent a conversation that felt like it was braided from threads you did not know anyone else could see. I sent a memory that would not leave. A line they said that answered a prayer you whispered months ago when the lights were off and your eyes were open. I sent a rest in your body when you thought of them. Not the anxious spin that pretends to be excitement, but is really dread. You felt a rest that made your spine soft, your lungs full, your chest light. Pay attention to the peace. Peace is a language. Peace is my signature. Yes, there will be voices. Some will sound familiar. Some will claim to protect you. But protection without discernment is often just fear recruiting an audience. I am protecting you with clarity. Michael has moved certain people out of the closest circle so that their pessimism does not masquerade as prophecy. The ones who cannot see beyond age will not be able to carry the joy that comes with purpose. Stop auditioning for their approval. If they require you to empty your hands to keep their friendship was alone with ugly interest. I'm not asking you to be reckless. I'm asking you to be honest. I am asking you to be bold where I have already secured the ground. This person's love for you is not an echo of loneliness. It is not a reaction to desperation. It is a deliberate choice they keep making even when no one is watching. They have searched their motives in the light. They have looked at what you carry, the calling and the scars. And they're not intimidated by the weight of your destiny. They're not trying to dim your lamp so their shadow looks bigger. They're trying to shelter your flame from the wind. When they pray, I listen. When they plan, I guide. There's a tenderness in them that I taught them in hard classrooms. And there's a courage in them that I grew during years that felt like winter. Your summers and their winters make a harvest neither of you could pull alone. You have asked God, what about the practical things? And I answer you, I am practical. I am the God who taught Joseph to store grain before the famine. The God who taught Bezel to shape gold and acacia wood into beauty that lasts. The God who came as a carpenter before he revealed himself as a teacher. I am not asking you to ignore wisdom. I am giving you wisdom. There will be plans, and you will make them together. Plans for finances and health, for rhythms and rest, for honoring family while drawing boundaries that bless everyone. There will be a circle of counsel that is not large, but is loyal, not loud, but luminous. I will bring 2 or 3 whose eyes are clear and whose love is not meddling dressed as mentorship. They will confirm what you already hear. Today, hear me. Today is not the day to marry. Today is the day to stop strangling what I am trying to breathe on. Today is the day to open your hands and say, God, I receive the possibility I was afraid to want. I'm not pressuring you. I'm releasing you. A distinction exists. Your will is not broken by me. I bestow alignment onto it. I will still be your God, and I will still be kind even if you decide to say no. However, if you decide to follow my lead, the following 3 months will bring a series of revelations that will leave you speechless. In locations that were previously locked, you will find favor. Apologies will come from those who vowed never to give in. Speaking the truth out rather than negotiating it in private will make your anxiety less. Michael says, do not hesitate at the border. The border is where the enemy builds his loudest booths, selling counterfeit certainties for the price of your courage. Keep walking. Move with me. The weight of public opinion is neither a crown nor a cross. It is just a weight. I did not design you to carry it. Put it down. I give you instead the yoke that fits. Responsibility tied to purpose. Sacrifice braided with joy. Patience anchored to vision. When you wear this yoke, you will not feel crushed. You will feel carried. You worry about the future of your body and the future of your days. You worry about who will care for whom, about strength and weakness, about the way time draws lines on faces and wisdom draws lines through choices. I tell you this, I am Lord of Time. I will teach you both to number your days and to fill them. I will teach you to honor limits and to stretch faith. The rhythm I will give you is not frantic and not fragile. It is sturdy. It will look like early mornings with laughter that doesn't need an audience, like meals that taste of gratitude, like decisions made without the meter of panic. You will not spend your years trying to impress the people who do not clap for anything they did not build. You will spend your years building what I asked you to build, and you will be surprised at how many come to rest in the shade you plant. There's a conversation coming, and it is not a rehearsed speech, but a truth that lands gently. Be ready to speak clearly. Be ready to say what you want without apologizing for wanting it. I have not asked you to apologize for the shape of the blessing I have formed. When you speak, do not argue your worth. Announce your boundaries. When you listen, do not hunt for flaws. Notice the fruit. Fruit tells the truth over time, and the time has already told the story. Consistency has appeared again and again. They did not disappear when it was inconvenient. They did not turn your vulnerability into leverage. They did not take your story and trade it for clicks or pity. They learned your silences, and they did not fill them with their own importance. Remember that. I have also heard your fears about repeating mistakes. You think, what if I am misreading? What if I am seeing what I want to see? Child, remember how I have corrected you when you needed correction? Did I not close the door you begged me to keep open once before? Did I not remove the ring you thought you couldn't live without? I am capable of saying no. The fact that I'm not saying no now is not because I have grown timid. It is because you have grown, and this is different. The parts of you that used to choose from pain are being healed. The parts of you that used to perform for crumbs are being fed. Your discernment is not perfect, but it is improving, and I am multiplying it with my own. Michael has already fought the battles you cannot see. Quiet slanders that attempted to seed doubt. Subtle manipulations that tried to turn your gratitude into guilt. He has cut those strings. You might still hear the echoes, but echoes cannot bind you. Keep your eyes forward. You are not responsible for convincing people who prefer their story of you to your truth. Bless them and move. Your yes is a key. It will unlock rooms where your calling can stretch to full height. It will introduce you to collaborations that do not compete with you, but complete assignments with you. Your household will become a testimony, a place where age is neither idolized nor mocked, but held in wisdom, where celebration does not feel like a show and correction never feels like humiliation. You will build rituals that sustain love when feelings ebb and flow. You will write notes that remind each other who you are when weariness tries to edit the narrative. You will pray in ways that strengthen your ribs, and you will laugh in ways that relax your shoulders. There will be days when you do not agree, and those days will not be wars because you will refuse to weaponize memory. You will disagree like gardeners who share the same harvest. You will sit and find the weed and pull it together. When people ask how you keep such peace, you will tell them the truth. Peace is not luck. Peace is maintenance. Peace is presence. Peace is obedience. And my presence will be the oil that keeps the hinge from squeaking. Hear me. I am not promising you a life without challenge. I am promising you a partnership that meets challenge with unity. I'm not promising you applause. I am promising you fruit. The kind of fruit that shows up when no one is looking and tastes like rest after a long journey. The kind that feeds others without leaving you empty. The kind that ripens even in strange weather because its roots are deep. This is why I kept you when you felt forgotten. This is why I woke you at odd hours to teach you patience that did not curdle into passivity and courage that did not calcify into stubbornness. I have been preparing you for a covenant that reflects my kindness not as a performance, but as a practice. Today I loosen the knot in your chest. Today I release the guilt that says you have taken too long, missed too much, age past joy. There is no expiration date on the tenderness I wrote into your story. Look at me. Keep your gaze on me. Eyes that look for mockers will always find them. Eyes that look for manna will always be fed. Choose your gaze. Choose your steps. Walk with me, not with the crowd. The crowd changes songs. I do not change. My love is older than your fear and younger than your newest sunrise. It arrives fresh and ancient at once. This is your permission to believe what I am doing without oversharing it. Keep some things between you and me until they are strong enough to walk in daylight. Do not let the pressure to prove make you careless with what is sacred. You can rejoice publicly while nurturing privately. You can answer questions without surrendering intimacy to an audience that treats everything like content. I will teach you the dance of openness and privacy. I will show you when to speak and when to smile. You will not miss the cues. I'm a faithful choreographer. When the memory of old wounds flickers, bring them to me, not to your worries. Let me anoint them again. Let me show you how the scar is now a seam that holds you together rather than a crack that splits you apart. Let me remind you of the day you thought the sun would not rise, and yet it did, unbothered by your panic. Let me walk you back through every valley where you learned that despair is not an identity. It is a weather that passes. I am your climate. I am your home. I am your steady. Michael says this is the hour to answer peace with movement. Not to rush, not to flaunt, but to move. Make the call. Write the message. Set the time. Ask the questions that matter. What does commitment look like in our daily life? How do we honor both families without letting them steer our ship? How will we steward calling and rest? How will we budget courage and kindness for the long run? You will be surprised at how similar your answers are, because I have been tutoring you separately for a long time toward the same curriculum. The rhyme you hear is not coincidence. It is providence. I bless your mind to think clearly, your heart to feel safely, your body to rest deeply. I bless your home to hold laughter that heals the ache you forgot you were carrying. I bless your work to open doors that match your integrity. I bless your circle to tighten to those who can carry joy without making it about themselves. I bless your future to unfold at a pace that honors your humanity and reveals my glory. And I bless this love to grow roots that outlast storms and branches that give shade to stories you have not lived yet. Do not skip this. It is just for you. Today, October 1st, 2025, I set before you the sweetness of alignment and the courage to taste it. Do not let shame talk you into hunger when a table is set. Do not let fear rename wisdom. Do not let cynicism rename discernment. Call things what they are. Call this what it is. A gift I'm trusting you to unwrap slowly and steward well. Your yes will not make you smaller. It will give you room to become who you have been becoming all along. I am with you. Michael is guarding you. Love is not an accident. Love is an assignment. Walk in it with your shoulders lowered and your head lifted, and let your life preach the sermon you used to beg me to send. Today is October 1st, 2025, and I am speaking to you now without delay, without veil, without interruption, because your heart has been asking for a sign that is unmistakable and undeniable. And I am answering that prayer in a voice that finds you where you are. Archangel Michael says, I order you to open this right now. And because you are standing in a unique hour, I vouch for his urgency. It is a hinge that will not swing accidentally in your life. You've pondered whether the age gap between you and this person is a barrier or a divider. You felt a weight on your chest like an unseen hand telling you that a decision is coming up, that a proposal, spoken or unspoken, is looming in the room of your future. Hear me out. I am familiar with the outlines of your tale, the sequence of your days, the way your memories are stitched together, the strategies you have developed to keep yourself together, and the hidden spots where you want to breathe. I don't talk to make you confused. I speak to reveal the kindness I have planned and to caution you against the needless fear that others have attempted to instill in you. Michael will not allow your clarity to be exchanged for unneeded approbation or your bravery to be taken by whispers. He will stand by you like a soldier of daybreak. You have been reliving brief, everyday occurrences that are packed with significance. An unusually long-lasting look. A discourse that, unbeknownst to you both, veered into sacred territory. A gesture of goodwill without expecting anything in return. Like a vigilant steward, you have observed this person's life, not just their words but also their actions, gauging if they are honest when no one is watching, whether their laughter allows space for your soul, and whether their sadness can coexist with yours without hastily resolving it. Then, by reminding you of a number, the world, with its cacophonous rule book, has attempted to obscure your feelings. As if time could compute love, as though a number could quantify commitment, as though a measured distance could negate the closeness of a heart that has chosen yours. Don't misinterpret me. I respect advice and I respect knowledge, but I do not submit to caution masquerading as fear. The age gap between you is not a trap. If you both have the same spirit of truth, respect, and purpose. Numbers are never dangerous. It lies in your character, your motivations, and how well your callings coincide. For this reason, I'm speaking now to prevent you from giving up a promising garden to a chorus of little voices. In the calm times, you asked me whether you could be pleased without feeling bad about it. If you're permitted to accept a love that didn't look like the contour of your fantasy, pay attention to me. Your life isn't a trial where happiness has to make an argument. I wrote your life is a covenant long before shame attempted to co-author chapter 1, which I never gave to it. As the protector of your choice, Michael stands at the beginning of this chapter. Furthermore, his sword is aimed at the concern that masquerades as knowledge rather than at you. He says to you, open it immediately. It's just for you. Don't try to skip this, because there is something I am placing in your hand that won't fit into a pocket of indecision. It is not a demand that you rush. It is an invitation that you not delay obedience once you have seen clearly. You have been faithful with little. I'm making you ruler over much. And one of the first realms you will rule well is the realm of your heart. A kingdom where fear and comparison are no longer allowed to draft the laws. Understand what I am doing beneath the surface. I am reconciling your past with your promise, letting yesterday and tomorrow shake hands in your today. I am reminding you that the lessons you learned in heartbreak were not wasted, and the moments you spent alone were not punishments. I am uncovering the parts of you that had grown accustomed to waiting so long that waiting felt safer than receiving. Do you see what I see? I see two people who are both adults, both accountable, both capable of choosing carefully and walking in honor, both willing to grow. I see someone who has looked at your scars without flinching. Someone who recognizes your strength without trying to compete with it. Someone who understands that love is not possession, it is stewardship. I also see the places where fear tries to creep in. What will people say? What will they assume? Will they mock? Will they question? Will they bless? Hear me. The noise of the crowd does not determine the vows of your destiny. Their opinions cannot sustain a marriage. Only truth can. Let the chorus of the temporary fade until you hear the melody I am writing for you. There is a treasure in you that the years could not rust and the storms could not erode. There is a treasure in them, too, that has been waiting for a partner who will not trivialize their devotion. What separates a passing infatuation from a covenant is not the temperature of a moment, but the architecture of a lifetime. Honesty that does not crumble under pressure. Humility that doesn't keep score. Patience that lets growth have its seasons. Forgiveness that chooses the future over the grudge. Faithfulness that sanctifies the ordinary days as much as the dazzling ones. You have touched the edges of this architecture in your conversations with them. You have felt how ease replaces pretense, how friendship anchors the affection, how laughter loosens the knots that used to tighten your breath. Take note of this. The love you carry together is neither a shortcut nor a performance. It is a pilgrimage. Age cannot invalidate a pilgrimage. It can only shape its pace. Michael is clearing the road that fear tried to clutter with imaginary obstacles. He stands like a pillar of clarity and says, "Keep your eyes forward." He will nudge you when you begin to step toward old patterns. When you try to sabotage joy because you're used to waiting for the other shoe to drop. When you attempt to name the gift as a test because you're more comfortable being examined than embraced. When you feel tempted to reject tenderness before it has a chance to prove it can stay. He will also speak through peace. Do not ignore the peace. The peace I give is not the sugar-coated calm of denial. It is the steadying gravity that holds you when wind and wave try to boast. Ask yourself when you imagine saying yes. Do you feel your chest tighten, or do you feel your roots deepen? When you picture a life yoked gently to this person, do you sense shrinking, or do you sense expansion? My peace always expands the soul's lungs. To walk forward wisely, I ask you to look at 3 lights I'm switching on. The first light is truth. Let every conversation between you be a lamp, not a mirror. Lamps reveal. Mirrors only reflect what is already there. Speak plainly about finances, about family, about rhythms, about faith, about how you handle conflict, about your dreams and your non-negotiables. If this love is from me, truth will not scare it away. It will feed it. The second light is honor. Honor is the way love removes its shoes on holy ground. Do not make each other pay for the wounds another person caused. Do not weaponize the age difference in moments of frustration. Do not let the outside world become the judge in your private sanctuary. Honor forgives without erasing boundaries. It trusts without being naive. It listens without planning a rebuttal. The third light is alignment. Align your calendars. Not just your calendars, but your callings. Where you're going matters more than how old you are.